What is going on, guys? Miles here, and in this video I'll be sharing with you guys a ton of information regarding the Blackout game mode in Black Ops 4, also known as the Battle Royale mode. So recently a website called Gameinformer had an exclusive interview with Treyarch where they would talk about the Blackout mode. Now, at first I didn't think this would include a ton of information because we haven't really learned a lot about the mode so far, but it turns out there was an absolute crap ton of information which Gameinformer shared with us, and I was pretty shocked by it, and I wanted to make a video kind of summarizing the main points from Gameinformer's article, and if you want to read the whole thing I'll leave a link to it in the description. I guess a good point to start the video would be with the map of Blackout, and I'll put an image up on screen of the entire map. As you can see, there are a bunch of iconic locations on this map, mainly from like previous Treyarch games and stuff like that. The main ones I would say are Firing Range as well as Nuketown Island. And starting off with Firing Range, this is in the dead center of the map, and I think it's going to be basically the equivalent of Tilted Towers in Fortnite, because it seems to be a very big area and is right in the middle, so I think a ton of people are going to be dropping here, and I would expect there to be a bunch of loot as well, because I mean it is called Firing Range, you're probably going to expect a lot of weapons there, so I think this place is going to be absolutely chaos. As for Nuketown Island, I was a little bit surprised by this because when I first heard Nuketown Island would be in Blackout, I expected it to be in like the very center of the map and be like the focal point of Blackout, because Nuketown has got to be the most iconic name for a map in Treyarch Call of Duty. It's been in every single Black Ops game so far, but they decided to place it on like the west side of the map on its very own island, which I think is pretty interesting, and I think it will make it maybe a not so great drop zone, because it's probably going to be very far from the first circle, and that would put you at an instant disadvantage. The other locations on the map probably aren't as iconic as Nuketown and Firing Range, but you'll probably recognize most of them from previous Treyarch games. For example, on the east side we have Turbine, we have Asylum, we have Hydro Dam, which I believe was a DLC map in Black Ops 2, but I can't quite remember. We have Train Station, which is a map from Black Ops 2, and I'm pretty sure there isn't actually a train you can ride on there, so just beware of that. We have Estates, which I'm not exactly sure what that is in like the Black Ops series. We have Construction Site, as well as Cargo Docks from Black Ops 2, Fracking Tower, Array, as well as Factory. So that was the first look at the map in Blackout. Overall, that has got me pretty damn excited, and I can't wait to try out the game on September the 10th when the beta comes out on PS4. But another big question about this game mode was how many people will fit into a single game, which was actually answered by David Vonderhaar. He said currently in the beta version there will be 80 players in a game, but they did say they would try and increase the number from 80 when the beta has finished. He didn't really give an exact number, but he did mention 115, which I'm pretty sure is just an Easter egg for zombies players. I think 80 is a fairly respectable number for the player count, and of course I would like it to be more like 100, but the main concern I have with Blackout is how well it's going to perform. Can you get like a solid 60 FPS on it? And I would rather have like 60 FPS and 80 players rather than like 100 players with 30 FPS constantly. As for the weapons in the game, we know there are a total of 24 different weapons so far, as well as 17 different weapon attachments, which I believe you can find and put on your weapon, but it wasn't super clear to me. One interesting thing about Blackout though is that there isn't different rarity for weapons. So in like Fortnite you have the grey weapons, you have like greens and then blues and then purples, but in Blackout there are just weapons on the floor. They don't have like a specific rarity, which I think is quite interesting, and I don't think it's like a good or a bad feature to be honest, but I feel like there's still going to be a certain tier for each weapon which like the community will come up with. There aren't weapon tiers, but there are things called gold guns in Blackout, and basically certain chests will spawn around the map, and inside those chests you can find yourself a gold gun, which is basically a modified version of a standard weapon which comes with attachments and augments and enhancements, so it's going to be much better than your average weapon, and that kind of creates a tier system in the game, but there are only 2 tiers of weapons. As for health and healing, you start with 150 health, which is the exact same as multiplayer, and there are many different ways to heal. You can use basic bandages, trauma kits, as well as king-sized med kits, and One interesting thing about Blackout compared to other Battle Royale games is that you can heal from 1 HP to 150 only using basic bandages, so you're not like restricted to certain items to heal to full HP. For example, in like Fortnite, you can only go to 75 using bandages, but that isn't the case in Blackout. Moving on to vehicles, Vonderhaar confirmed 4 different types of vehicles in the game. We have the all-terrain vehicle, which can hold 1 driver as well as 1 passenger. We have the Zodiac inflatable boat, which can have 1 pilot as well as 1 passenger. For air vehicles, we have the Little Bird helicopter, which can hold 1 pilot as well as 4 passengers. And finally, a new vehicle which we haven't heard before is the cargo truck, which has 1 driver as well as 4 passengers. So we have a total of 4 vehicles in the game so far. Another really cool feature in Blackout is the character system, and Vonderhaar said as of right now there are 20 characters which you can play in Blackout, and you can unlock certain characters by completing challenges in Blackout, which I think is really cool. So for example, we have the battery specialist character which you can unlock and play in Blackout, but first, to unlock this player you have to find the war machine in Blackout, and then you have to get a bunch of kills with it and then finish in the top 15 in a game. So I really like the idea of these challenges, and I think it's going to add a lot of replayability into the mode. From the short teaser clip from around like a month ago, we knew zombies were going to be in Blackout, but we got a bunch more information about them. So there's going to be 4 different total zombie spawn locations. We know one of them is going to be in like an area which looks like Verrückt from World at War, but we don't exactly know what the other locations are. But Vonderhaar said to look in the sky for beams of light, similarly to the mystery box, in order to find them. And one really cool feature is that you can actually kill these zombies and get loot from them. So Vonderhaar said if you kill a zombie, you could get a ray gun or a monkey bomb from it, which I think is absolutely insane, and I think that's such a cool feature. So they were all of like the big bits of information, but there are a few small pieces as well I thought I would share because they are quite important. So we know there's going to be a few types of armor in the game, but we didn't really get many specific details on them. We also know there's going to be a few events in the game, kind of like we have in World War II currently, where you can unlock certain content and maybe characters and stuff like that. Once again, we don't really have big specifics on this, but I do like the idea of events in the game. It was also confirmed that there would be missions for all the different characters in the game, and you can unlock new content by completing the missions. One really weird dynamic is that you can actually kill someone and take their mission and then complete it for them, at which point you will get the reward. It's a pretty crazy dynamic, but I do like the idea of it once again. It was confirmed that Ruin's grappling hook would be available in the game for any character to use, and finally there will not be any cross-platform play between any of the consoles and PC. But there we have it. That was a ton of information regarding the Blackout game mode, which will be coming to Black Ops 4 on October the 12th, or maybe a bit earlier on September the 10th if you're playing on PS4 during the beta. But let me know what you think of all of these details down in the comments below. Are you looking forward to Blackout? And if you found this video useful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more, but I'll see you guys in another video.